Unleash your potential with MetaMindstream, disrupting possibilities. Dive into the fusion of positive neuroscience and business strategies with Anne Scotland and Dr. Lyman Montgomery. Break free from limiting beliefs, expand extraordinary lives, and boost business profitability.
Hello and welcome to MetaMindstream. This is a brand new show and I'm so excited to have you with us today here with myself and Dr. Lyman Montgomery. We're here to disrupt what's possible and the limitations that people set, and we're specifically focused on business. So let me just give you a tiny insight about how the show is going to work. So Focus Meta Mindset, our company, is a company that merges neuroscience and actionable business steps to create solutions that we often have disregarded. Our tagline is profitability simplified. So here in MetaMindstream, which of course is a play on our company name, Focus Meta Mindset, we are going to give you actionable business steps using neuroscience to make your business better and raise your bottom line. Then that's going to be our first segment. And in our second segment, we are going to have fun. It's going to be the Meta Mindset lifestyle where we really get disruptive and we're talking about everything under the sun. Taboo topics, untaboo, religion, history, philosophy, what it takes to take our mindset to the next level and change the way we live our life. So much of our lives we've lived in a box based on what we believe is possible. And that's why we say we're disrupting what's possible. So I'm going to turn it over to Lyman. Hi, Lyman, and you're going to introduce us to today's business strategy. How are you?
Thank you, Ann. I'm so glad. This has been a long time coming. The goal of the business segment is really talking about how your brain can not only just influence business decisions, but sometimes the brain can get in the way of business decisions. It's sort of like our tagline, disrupting what's possible. A lot of times people may have a sense of moving in the right direction with a business idea and they talk themselves out of it. Then there's time where they jump off the cliff and think about, maybe I should have gave this a little bit more thought. In today's business segment, we'll talk about how the brain can get in the way sometimes of making those critical business decisions with the goal in mind to think about, talk about, then be about.
Say that again. I love that.
The goal in the business segment is to not only think about it, talk about it, but then to be about it.
I love that so much.
Think about an idea, we communicate that idea, and at some point we have to act on that idea. So again, think about it, talk about it, but then be about it.
Amazing. Thank you so much for that, Lyman. And what we're going to bring you next are actionable steps in today's business segment, something you can apply literally while you're listening to us today. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Unleash the power of focused meta mindset lunch and learn sessions. Sharpen problem-solving skills, spark innovation, foster collaboration, and build adaptability and resilience. Elevate your team's success and profits. Discover more at www.focusmetamindset.com.
Welcome back here on MetaMindstream. And Dr. Lyman Montgomery was just about to introduce us to some actionable steps that can make a difference in your business and help you raise your bottom line. Lyman?
Absolutely. Thank you. You know, one of the things that we tend to disagree about, and that is taking action over really pontificating or really, I know you spend a lot of time in idolation, right? Where you will think about something, and I'm the opposite. I'm going to jump out the airplane and worry about building the parachute later. And what makes this work is when we come together and say, wait a minute, before you jump, why don't you spend a little bit more time thinking about it? And I'm like, but I want to get there. And so today's segment, before the break, we talked about think about it, talk about it than be about it. Now, there's a part of the brain called the amygdala. And the amygdala is a small little almond-shaped part of the brain that controls our emotion. It is the part of the brain that allows us to be aware. The problem is sometimes the amygdala can hijack our nervous system. And what I mean by that is, have you ever went to a car lot and you saw this car and you said, oh my God, I'm the only one? So you buy the car, and as soon as you drive off the lot, you notice a similar car.
That always happens to me. That always happens to me.
You go 2 blocks, there's another car. But you thought you were the only one. What happened? Did everyone decide to purchase your car? No. The part of that brain, the amygdala, has been heightened. So now you're just more aware of your surroundings. Now, that was great when we lived in caves and we were afraid of being eaten by tigers and lions and bears and things that go bump in the night. Well, that part of our brain has a propensity to still hijack our system, especially when we are unsure about a decision. Now,
why does it do that, Dr. Lyman? Why does it hijack it?
It hijacks it because we are oversensitive, because we're more aware. So now we start seeing things we didn't see before. We start hearing things because we have a heightened sense of hearing, heightened sense of thought, of sight. And so now everything reminds us of, wait a minute, I thought I was the only one. It's the same way with my wife, for example. She would buy a dress and go to a dinner party. The worst thing that can happen is to see what? Another person with that dress on. Even similar. Now, I'm oblivious to it. I'm like, well, what's wrong? Hey, that's pretty cool. She's like, no, take me home. She has on my dress. Now, in other settings, they probably would have said, hey, that's nice. I have the same outfit. But you don't want to be in the same surrounding or proximity with someone else having something that you felt was yours. So the same thing happens with a business idea where you think you're the only one that has this great idea and you thought about it. Now you want to move into talking about it, and you start talking with a friend or a colleague and they say, well, you know, John has a similar product or similar service. Now, Ann, sometimes you and I will disagree. How long should you spend in ideation? Ideation, excuse me.
Ideation. Okay, I was like, adulation? Well, yes. You can adulate all you like, but I was like, I've taken up a new religion, apparently.
Ideation.
Ideation. Yeah, ideation. So, yeah, this is where we're definitely different. And this is where it's great to have a business partner who balances each other out. So, yeah, I'm the kind of person, ideation is a huge strength of mine. I'm a born problem solver, strategizer, but I could spend 95% of my time easily in ideation if I didn't have my partner saying, we got to get this thing out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that's where it's great to have someone on your team that's opposite, to have someone like yourself that will go through every piece of a project with a fine-tooth comb, but then also have someone like me to like, I'm like that kid, right? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Because remember, I believe that progress is better than perfection.
So let me ask you this. So when my amygdala, so that's my word of the day, that I get it out right, is hijacked, and it's causing a disruption in my business. Give me a business example of when that happens.
Sure. Here's a classic business example that I started talking about. You have this great idea. You've been thinking about this idea for 3 months. You feel that it's God inspired, universe inspired. No one else has thought about this. Okay. And you go to let's say it's a group of business leaders, right? Round table, Chamber of Commerce meeting. And you're like, listen, I have this phenomenal idea. No one has thought of this. And I believe it could make millions of dollars. They're like, well, tell me the idea. What is it? Water in a bottle. Now imagine 30, 40 years ago when someone had that idea. People thought you were, wait a minute. Are you telling me people would pay for water that is free, and the only difference is you're putting it in a bottle? Yes! Now, how many of us today drink water from a bottle? Now, imagine if that person said, you know what, that was a dumb idea. No one's going to pay to drink water out of a bottle. But now it's a multi-billion-dollar industry.
Excellent example. So if give me an example, one more example. So let's just say in our daily business life. So I think that example of yours was that I would be stuck in ideation mode, but
Right.
I know that I need to get something out. So this is like writing a book. You and I are both authors. We know how this goes. So I could literally write for the rest of my life on one book. At some point, it's like, okay, someone light a match under me because this book has to get out. Or let's break it down even simpler into just tasks. So sometimes I get really monofocused on one task when I have 10 tasks, and I have a hard time changing tracks. So
Yes.
What can I do when my amygdala is hijacking me in that scenario? What can I do to say switch from project A to project B?
Right. The first thing that I want you to do, Ann, and I want you to listen to me, Ann, because I know it's going to be hard for you. Breathe. Stop, pause, and just center yourself and breathe. Because what happens in the brain is what you call your switching mechanism. That's why, think about your brain as a bank, right? It's at 100%. The more tasks that you work on depletes that amount. So let's say you're working on 4 tasks, you're only given 25% of total concentration at any time to those 4. So if you increase that 4 to 6 to 10, then that means you're only giving 10% of your effort across the board. Wouldn't it be better to give 100% in short spurts to one project? Stop. When I say breathe, what I'm talking about, there has to be a break. You get up, you stretch, maybe go for a short walk, grab a cup of tea, water, or something. It allows the brain to switch gears. Similar to if you're driving a car and you turn your turn signal on, and remember in driver's ed, they say count to 3 or whatever it is before changing lanes, as opposed to an Indy 500 driver where you're like, I think I can get in, and you just, just swerving in and out. And so what I want for you, what I need for you to do, Ann, and I said need, because I know if I say you should, you probably won't do it, is breathe, get up, stretch, allow yourself to grab a cup of water or eat some lettuce or whatever vegans eat.
I live on air, Lyman. I'm breathing all the time.
But deep breathing.
Deep breathing.
And emotion. Yeah, and emotion. Because you've noticed that whenever you're stuck, and this is great for writers too, and they have so-called writer's block, it's because they're inundated with focusing so much on trying to get the perfect opening or the perfect close. And sometimes just getting up, getting a different perspective, going outside, listening to nature, and allow that line to come to you, or that close to come to you. And it will when you're not thinking about it. And
That's
that's, again,
amazing.
part of that switching mechanism in the brain.
Excellent. So this is a great reminder for me to breathe. And I know like so often take 3 deep breaths when I'm switching or when I need to concentrate. So the next time your amygdala is hijacking you, remember, take 1, 2, 3 deep breaths, just reset. So we're going to come back. This is the end of our business segment. We're going to come back to the really fun segment in a minute, which is meta mindset lifestyle. So we hope you got some great pointer there for the business section. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Unleash the power of strategic neuroscience with focused Meta Mindset Inc. Boost your decision-making, sales, sustainable growth, and customer engagement. Scan the QR code now for an exclusive consultation. Elevate your profitability with focused Meta Mindset Inc.
Welcome back again to Meta Mindstream. We're so excited to have you here today. We hope you enjoyed the business segment. And now we get to jump into the fun stuff, which is the Meta Mindset lifestyle segment. Lyman, what do you want to talk about today?
You know, there's this concept of opposites attract, right?
Yeah.
But can they also detract? Especially if, let's say, for example,
You mean like repel?
repel, yes. Can they detract you from achieving maybe your business goals? For example, let's say I'm the type of person, I love to work, which I do. And I'm the type of person that I'm a homebody, which I am. But my partner is the opposite. My partner, 9 to 5, get home from work, don't want to think about work, and wants to go outside, go to dinner, go on vacations, and married to someone that a vacation is a workstation, right? Workcation, where,
Yeah.
he or she or they have laptops and they're sitting on a beach and they're trying to figure out a way, can I write this off?
Yes, no, because usually it's my partner who's doing that on the beach, and then he's wailing because he's trying to hold his phone up so he can get a hot spot, and he's like, I can't get this thing. I have to write this email now. I'm like, we're on vacation. We've just given up. We've been just calling it workation. We gave up.
Yes. And so, that's something to really think about because they say most marriages end, not necessarily because of infidelity, but because of finances. But I really think it's communication. They either shut down, they stop communicating, or it could be a situation where they're so opposite that, yes, that attracts. I love the fact that my wife is very stable. She has a critical eye. Until that eye turns on me. But it makes sense. She's an auditor for the state, right? That's what she do. She looks at policies and, she's a black and white individual. Either you did it or you didn't. You either comply or you didn't, right? We live in this world where of professional development. Where, maybe they had a bad childhood. Maybe someone didn't give them a hug or something. And she's like, it don't matter. They didn't do it. They didn't honor their word. They lack integrity.
Yeah. Oof.
But we work well together.
Yeah. So it can be opposites attract or retract or repel. So I guess one of the things I would say is when we're working with our clients, but also when we're working in our own lives at home, how do we use a meta mindset? Let's talk for just a second about what a meta mindset is. And then we're going to bring that back to this discussion about partners and relationships of all kinds and opposites. So a meta mindset, if this is a new idea to any of you, and you can email us, message us. We can't wait to start getting your messages and responding. Meta mindset is going above and beyond a normal mindset. Because, normally we say, oh, if you just have a positive attitude, you'll be fine. Your work will be better. Well, it might be true, but it's also a little non-specific. A lot of people pretend to be positive when they're really miserable on the inside. That doesn't actually achieve what we're talking about. A meta mindset is, what can I change in my lifestyle and my habits so that I can actually be literally a positive, happier person? That's what we call going meta. So this is an example of going meta, going above and beyond, going to the next level. I love something that Lyman said to me the other day, which was going meta is realizing that thinking outside the box is the box.
Yes.
So up until now, we've all think we're so progressive and we're making all these radical changes in our lives. And yet we're still only just got out of a smaller box into a bigger box. So we're talking meta is breaking out of the boxes altogether. And, because so much progress has become the norm, right? Right, Lyman?
Absolutely. And sometimes those boxes remind me of those Russian dolls, right? Where it's like they're normally like a cat or something, where you open up one and there's another one inside of that one, and there's another one inside of that one, until you get down to this real small little ornament or something. And our lives are that way. Some have said men are like waffles and women are like spaghetti. In our thought processes, men, we love to compartmentalize, right? We love to put things in a nice little box. I know this box. I've cleaned this box.
I think you're compartmentalizing right now, Lyman.
I probably am, but that's okay. See, having that spaghetti mindset, that's why y'all can touch on 20 different things. And I think the real issue is, and we can't do it, or we're not as good at it.
It's true.
My wife, for example.
To an extent. So since this is supposed to be a bumpy show and we're going to talk about anything, I will say it is definitely understand what you're saying and our predilection to doing different things. But in my household, I would actually say it's the opposite, because I am very
well, see, you threw away the box. You blew up the box.
I'm just saying. There you go.
Yeah.
And he can multitask beyond all measure. I mean,
right.
There might be a little ADD involved with that, but
I started the Association Against Multitasking. All right. And I have a membership of over 5 million. But the problem is they haven't shown up for one meeting yet. Because they're stuck in their box, right? Because we get comfortable with the box. Think about it. Most people, they tend to be men, get comfortable with our boxes. And so we come along and say, hey, there's freedom outside of the box. And what do? We go and build another box. It's called a man cave.
Or golf. Oh,
or
did
golf.
I say that?
Yes. Or whatever. It's still a box. It's the place that we want to go to get away from the world. And we really don't want you in the box.
Ooh,
and the problem
okay.
sometimes
I'm jumping into the box. I'm jumping into your space right now. I'm jumping into your box. I'm jumping in your box. Okay. So one of the things you're talking about men and being compartmentalized, one of the things that I think is really interesting in post-COVID world is the amount of men now who are working remotely.
Yes.
Because there is a whole new set of challenges and personal growth going on right now, because they used to be able to go to the office, and many women also, but especially men, it's interesting to see. Women have been multitaskers in many ways because of family and work and business, and because we're supposed to be superwoman, but for men, they're like, oh, what do you do all day? They go to the office, they come back. It's clear separation between like family, work, business. And I know that I'm thinking of someone in my extended family right now, who the dad is now home. He's the one taking the kids to and from school. The wife has a job an hour away, and he's working from home. So all of us, and he got a puppy. So everything now is like his job, and he's just like, he's reeling. He's just
absolutely. And let me tell you, I get phone calls from friends of mine that have either launched their own business, and the first thing they want to do is, so when do I get to set up an office? I'm like, you don't need an office. No, I got to get out the house.
I got a beach. I got a beach.
Right. You know, can I just have my office on a golf course? Matter of fact, I have a friend of mine. He actually did this. He set his office up at the country club. So if you want to meet him, you literally have to go to the country club, get a couple of holes of golf in, and then talk business. Because during COVID, he literally felt as if he was going stir crazy.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, but it gave him a great appreciation for his partner. Because now his partner is saying, honey, did you get the dishes done? Did you put the load of laundry in? And he's like, oh, I forgot I was on a call. But when it was reversed, he would come home and say, you've been home all day. What did you do? So I
get
agree
so
with
much
you.
evil glee out of this. I just get so much evil glee. Sorry. No, it's so true.
Disrupting what's possible.
Disrupting what's possible. So now that you know what meta means and what we're talking about when we say what is a meta mindset, and now you understand why the show is called Meta Mind Stream. We couldn't resist it. Stream of consciousness, meta mindset. You know, this is bringing it all together first in actionable steps for your business using neuroscience, and then in life. So now that we take this piece that we had introduced you today, and we'll keep touching on it in every week, every episode, just to keep you reminded. But so now we bring this piece of going meta back to your illustration, Lyman, of two partners in a relationship, any relationship, especially a romantic relationship where they're opposites and you get a lot of positives, opposites attract. What do we do when we hit the negatives? Opposites repel, because I do know what that's like. Opposites attract. Yes, that is definitely why my husband and I get along so well. And then once in a while, just words, mind you, but it's just like
absolutely.
You want to wring their neck. So how can we go meta in a situation where here's what I love about this, and what I love about you bringing this up is because the issue is not the relationship per se. The issue is that we are each organically different, or in some ways very opposite from each other organically. This is where people make the mistake when you first get married, and especially us women. And we're going to change all you guys. We're going to fix you. We're going to get you all sorted out. No, because this person still has their own self, their own personality.
Absolutely.
So when you do run into those things where it's opposite, you know, how can we use meta mindset to forge solutions and still keep our individual integrity? I think that's all most people really want.
Absolutely. And I think that if I could jump in real quick, I think the problem a lot of times we look for agreement versus alignment.
Ooh, yes.
And what I mean by that is if you're looking for someone to always agree with you, you're going to be disappointed. My wife and I, we don't agree on everything, but we are in total alignment when it comes to the things that we hold as valuable to us. For example, she and I may disagree on the way that we may approach a problem. Okay. She's very methodical. She's going to do her research. She's almost like that lioness that will creep up, right? I'm like that rushing tiger. They just want to attack it. But she's going to, do her research, find out everything about it, very methodical and everything. And I just want to attack the problem because I want it done and over with, right? So that's where we differ. But we are in alignment when it comes to, do we agree on certain things? For example, we both love cultural experiences. We both have a deep sense of spirituality, a deep commitment to family and community. Those are non-negotiable. So we're in alignment when it comes to that. But there are a number of things that we disagree on. One of the things early on in our marriage we disagreed on is laundry. So guess who does the laundry? I do.
I love
Because her way of doing laundry is great, but she doesn't necessarily like folding clothes the way I like folding clothes and sheets and making sure everything is perpendicular and lined up. So rather than getting into, so again, we disagreed on that, but we're in alignment that, you know what, you're better at it, Lyman, you do that. Okay. My wife cooks better than me. All right. So guess who does 99% of the cooking? She does. I just do the dishes.
That's a good deal. That's a
So
good
again, we
deal.
disagree, but we're in alignment that it needs
I
to
love
get
that.
done. Yeah.
I mean, because, and I love how you were phrasing it before, being not everyone's looking for agreement. And that's why we have arguments, right? Disagreements. Everyone's looking for agreement instead of alignment.
Yes.
And I think even alignment is beautiful because it also invites us to look at the bigger picture. Like right now, I am irritated as that the dishwasher has plates in the top rack and cups in the bottom rack, and I almost literally have a nervous freaking breakdown. I can't. I mean, how is the water supposed to circulate properly? And everything, you can fit 3 times the amount in if you do it with intention. And again, this is one of those places where I do that. Well, I'm actually so bad that he does it, which is really awesome. And I support that fully. And then when he's not looking, I go back and I fix it. A little neurosis, little OCD.
That is so funny. That is so funny because I actually got busted. My wife, I wasn't feeling well. And so my wife, was doing laundry and she folded my clothes up and she put them on the futon, and they were folded good. Nothing wrong with it. But she came in and I was and she just looked at me. She didn't say anything, but I knew that looked like, next time, do your own laundry.
I love it. You got caught. I get caught once in a while too.
I got caught.
And what I love is though, when we have these disagreements, and I'm trying to think of something in real time right now, or maybe I could try this today, which is saying, okay, I realize we disagree on this, but let's remember that we're both in alignment. Okay, here's an example. This is a fun, silly one. All right. We have 3 mini Schnauzer rescues, which are my children and my life, other than my husband, of course. and these dogs are so loved, cared for, spoiled, sleep in our bed with us. We sleep on the edges falling off. They've taken over our lives. It's absolutely amazing. We love every single minute of it. And I came from a family where food was very strictly monitored, and things like, food was not used as a reward, and your health was super important. And he came from a very loving family where food was used as a celebration and a love language. And so I'm always like, don't feed the dogs from your plate. They're begging. They're going to drive everyone crazy. We'll never be able to have anyone over at our house. And then I say that, and then like 2 seconds later, I turn around and, he's like feeding them under the table. He's feeding them off. I swear not. I kid you not. Like 60 seconds later. Now this happens multiple times per day. So the next time we have a little tiff about this, I'm just going to say, let's just remember we're in alignment that we both absolutely love these dogs.
Absolutely.
And we're also in alignment that we want a good quality of life for each other. So I want him to have the joy. This is really going meta. I want him to have the joy it gives him of treating the dogs. But I also want to have the joy of having guests in my home and not feeling like they're being harassed. But we can be in alignment if we make an effort. Yeah, I see this.
Yeah, absolutely. When my wife and I were in Panama and we went to a fish market, and they had, I call it a community cat. But this cat was very smart. It wouldn't brush up again. It would just lie under the table. And it just wait for crumbs or food to fall, and it would eat it and, look up at you like to say thank you and go to the next table. And I said, see, that's the difference between a cat and a dog. A dog would have been sitting there with tongue hanging out, doing tricks. And the cat was like, look, you're going to drop food, so you might as well go ahead.
I will be waiting.
And I'll be waiting. I can wait. It's a fish market. Somebody's going. So
that's amazing. I love that illustration.
Yeah.
That's such a great illustration. And I think our challenge to all of you, our viewers and listeners, is send us your ideas, your stories, your examples of when you can use a meta mindset. When can you level up? And I would say this week's specific question would be, when can you opt to be in alignment, even if you're not in agreement?
In agreement, yes.
When can you opt to be in alignment? And if, share some stories, we will try to share some of those on the show if we can. So we would love to hear from you. Below, you've been seeing us streaming our contact information, email. You can reach out. We're going to wrap up here in just a couple minutes. I just want to thank you again for tuning in. And we're going to be here the same time next week, streaming on Tuesdays. And I'm going to let you see those times because I haven't even memorized them yet because this is the first show, but I think it's 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. And I won't even do the math on GMT. I'll do that next time because I do love my British fans. We love our British friends, all our European friends. So before we say goodbye for the day, any final thoughts, Lyman, on the business or the lifestyle?
Absolutely. Just to recap on the business segment, remember, you think about it, you talk about it, but then you have to be about it. And before moving from one task to the other, simply pause, take 3 deep breaths, get up, get a drink of water, coffee, or if you're like my partner, and go have a lettuce wrap or something.
This is going to go on and on. I can see this.
I can't
This is
resist
episode 1. No, I asked for it. I promise I'm a good sport. No, absolutely love it. And thank you. And that's such a good point. Yeah, mixing it up. And if you have any questions for us, all of you, please send them in. And remember, our Focused Meta Mindset mission as a whole with our company is profitability simplified. We have this much fun when we're actually working with our clients and making business fun again, making life fun again. It's not supposed to be harder. And another week, we're going to talk a lot about willpower, maybe a bit every week, because what's amazing about Meta is it goes beyond willpower. It supersedes willpower. Most of us, at least in my generation, we've been trained in that if you push and push harder and harder and harder, you will succeed. But often that is not true. There is a balance. And a lot of that is meta. You can do where the less is more. And why wouldn't we want to shift into that? Why wouldn't that be the wave of our future? So reach out to us. Check out our website. That's focused with a D, focusedmetamindset.com. You can also email us at info@focusedmetamindset.com. Check out our social medias and other contact information in the banner that's scrolling here. And come back next week. Also, if you have any topics that you'd love us to cover, please email us and like and subscribe on whatever platform you're watching or listening today. We're just launching, and if you would share it with a friend, we would love it. So thank you again. Thank you, my partner, Lyman. And we'll see you all again next week. Bye.